Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's video. Today on the ranch, I'm going to be vaccinating the adult cow herd and then shipping some of them over to the winter pasture. On a normal year, they would have already been over there because it's already January, but since we had a pretty bad lack of rain this fall, there was really no feed stocked up over there, so it'd be kind of pointless to take them over there if there's no feed. But things have changed out here now. It's wet and the winter grasses are starting to grow. So it's time to get this job done before it gets any muddier out here. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. The first thing that I'm going to have to do is get all the girls out of the big corral here and over into the smaller working corral so that I can get them all through the chute. This job is going to be especially fun today because of the mud, and I guess if it slows me down, it's going to slow them down as well. But as my one friend put it once, the cows will always go faster than you through the mud because they've got four-wheel drive. We've only got two. Well, that actually went surprisingly a lot easier than I thought it would. So hopefully that trend continues throughout the day. Now that we got them in the working corral here, I can start peeling them off about 4 at a time and running them through the chute. There's some that are going to have to stay here, and the ones that are approved to go are going to go right into the trailer out of the chute. When I'm talking about ones that are approved to go, what I mean by that is that there's a few in here that I know are habitual fence breakers. There's a couple that are a little bit more, shall we say, spirited. And those kind of cattle I don't like to send over to the winter pasture. I'd rather just keep them here. The ones that go to the winter pasture are going to be my calm, mellow, well-behaved cows. So when they're over there, I don't have to worry about them quite so much.
When the cattle are in the working corral, sometimes they're a little hesitant to go off into the tub alley, so I found it's usually a lot easier to take a big group back there, and then once I have them in the tub alley, sort a few of them back until I get the 3 or 4 in there that I need. Once I have them in the tub, I can swing the gate closed on them and run them up into the chute.
All right, number 46 here is actually a first calf heifer, meaning that she's never had a calf before, and we're hoping that she's bred right now. Now what that means is a couple things actually. Number one, it means that she won't be going to the winter pasture, because when she does have her calf, I want her here where I can keep a closer eye on her. The other thing that means is that in addition to needing a vaccination, she also needs to get branded. When I give her this vaccine, I'm going to practice quality assurance measures. And what that means is that we're giving the injection right here in the neck, and that we have read our label and we know how to properly give the injection. What I'm giving them now is Covexin 8, and that is required to be given subcutaneously, which means it's between the skin and the muscle. So what I'm going to do, pull her skin out, stick the needle in there, and that's all there is to it. This heifer needs 2 more things done to her before I can turn her out. I need to brand her, but I also need to worm her, which the wormer that I'm using just pours on their back and soaks into the skin that way.
Before I touch the iron to her hip, I'm going to try to clean off the hide a little bit so I don't have any cool spots.
when you're making a good brand, you want to make sure that you see this sort of light tan color all the way around. What I've noticed with the electric irons is it's always in the corners of the letters that don't seem to get as hot, and sometimes you have to go back and touch those areas up. This one looks pretty good though. I think we can send her on her way. Well, I'm sure they didn't all make it on film, but we got the first 4 through the chute here. There was only 1 out of that group that actually wanted to take over to the winter pasture. The other 3, 2 of them were heifers, and then 1 of them was a little more, shall we say, enthusiastic than I would have liked to see. So I got 1 for this trailer load. Hopefully in the next couple groups here, I can make a full load and we can head over there. These 3 that I've got in the alleyway now will complete my load to make our first load over to the winter pasture. So I'm gonna go ahead and vaccinate them and worm them, get them in the trailer, and we can get going.
If you ever find yourself having to work cattle through a chute by yourself, one of the best tricks that I've learned is that as you release the cow from the chute, immediately open the butt gate once she starts walking forward. This way the cow behind her sees her leave, and she has a natural tendency to want to try to follow her out. This strategy works probably 8 out of 10 times to get the cow up in the chute without anybody back there pushing her up for you.
We got our first bunch loaded up here. Let's take them over to the winter pasture. That's one load down.
Back at the ranch, it's more the same, as every single cow that I have will have to go through the chute. first cow through when we got back was plenty calm and gentle, which was quite a contrast to the next one in line. Regular viewers have heard me talk about number 20 before. She's my cow that's got a little bit of the devil in her, and she's convinced if she runs as fast as she can that she'll break through that chute one day. But as you can see, today wasn't the day. How do you go through life like this? I mean, goodness. Look, you didn't even... When it's time to leave the chute, she runs just as hard as she does when she gets in there. And I think her attitude was a little bit contagious because the next cow in line had a pretty bad attitude as well. If a cow's standing too far forward in the chute, once in a while I'll try to give them their shot in front of the head gate. This cow wasn't having that.
You and me. Oh, well, didn't like that. My goodness, drama queen.
Old Red number 8 here, back in her younger days, used to be known as the corral breaker. Fortunately, as she's gotten older, she's settled down quite a bit. And after dealing with those two, she seemed very well behaved.
You guys just gonna get in by yourselves? That'd be alright. You wanna be left behind? I guess I better get behind you. Come on by. Come on by, you're fine. I'm not gonna get you now. Come on, hey, get in up. Get on up. Can't even talk. Get in there. Make it work. Make it work. Make it work a little better than that. Woo. Alrighty. That moment when I have to get right up behind them and close that slide gate, that always scares me because there was a time when I was loading cows like that, and right when I went to grab that gate, one of them kicked me square in the stomach, and it didn't feel too good. So I definitely have flashbacks of that every time I do this. The second load has been delivered, which means that I only have one load left to go here. This last load is going to be a little bit smaller than the other two. I'm only going to be taking 6. The first two had 7 each, which will give us a total of 20 cows over there. Well, I'm down to the final 4 here, and out of these 4, I'm going to take 3 of them over to the winter pasture. Number 40 here, on the other hand, is not going to the winter pasture because last year she was there, and there was a couple weeks where I was out there every day getting her back in the proper side of the fence. So we're not going to do that again this year. She's just going to stay here. The grass over there is tall enough to get them going, but it'll be kind of scarce for the next few months. About March, it'll really start taking off, and those cows will have more than enough to eat until about May, when things start to kind of die off a little bit. Now that we're done here at the ranch, all I have left to do is to clean up my mess, and then I can finally go home and get some dinner. Thanks for hanging out in the corrals with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.